This is Lagoon Radio.
Good morning. Good Wednesday morning. How you doing? Hope you're good. And you're welcome to Lagoon Radio, broadcasting live to you from Hello Sham.
Good morning, Simdi. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, everyone. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning, and we're here on Lagoon Radio. This is welcoming you to the newspaper review, broadcasting live to you from Marina, Lagos. And today we have quite some number of newspapers with us. My name is Olabisi Simidele Oke, and I won't be doing this review alone. I'm here with Taiwo Adiola Shabi Olegbe, aka DJ Sharp.
Thank you. Good morning.
All right, I have with me here these Nigeria papers, Nigerian Tribune, Nigerian Pilot, Daily Independent, Leadership, New Telegraph, these day papers, etc., etc. So we will actually try as much as possible to cover a bulk of this paper actually. We'll try our best as much as possible. So I'll be starting with this Nigeria, and the major headline on this Nigeria papers, it's on presidential running mate, and it says PDP zeroes in on Wike as APC in a fix over joint Muslim ticket as INEC closes window on Friday. So you can get the full details on page 4 of this Nigeria papers. And moving to page 5, 70% of senators not returning to 10th Assembly. Lawan Ruse as Gbajabia Mila laments blow to reps too. And I'll be taking page 6. Tinubu's campaign in Ekiti won't alter resolve to vote for Oni. That's on page 6. And on page 10, IPOB queries attack on churches in Southeast. And lastly, on this Nigeria papers, on page 15, Nigeria loses a $1.7 billion court battle against JP Morgan. So that'll be all on this Nigeria papers.
All right, I'll be taking the Al Jazeera midweek. It's Wednesday. CBN Bankers Committee Old Maiden Non-Oil Export Summit. That one is on page 29. NNPC supplies 1.523 billion liters of fuel as Abuja queues persist. That's on page 11. And the major headline there says INEC deadline, choice of vice president unsettles APC and PDP. And the rider to that, Buhari meets APC governors over Tinubu's running mate. Well, that one is on page 8. It might interest you. Drug deal, Abakiari's co-defendant sentenced to 6-year jail. That's on page 14.
I think we took that yesterday.
Something similar to this, yes.
Yeah.
Our attack, again, Akeredolu reads Riot Act Bandit. That's on page 22. I saw a video of the Commissioner of Police.
Yeah.
Then saying he got a letter or a notice from the bandit that churches should close for about 3 months.
I think that's actually been in it's been on trend for some days now. I saw that over the weekend as well. So
I heard about it yesterday.
yeah.
Well, that one is on page 22. Koe Hasu embarks on strike over 15 billion Naira Revitalization Fund. That's on page 17. Still on the front page, crisis rock Yobe APC as Senate President Lawan faces odd battle to regain seat on page 24. Despite federal government's MMP's 6.86 million electricity consumers not metered. That's on page 29. And about the last one, Nigeria loses $1.7 billion court battle against JP Morgan. And you can find more story of that on page 10. And there's a picture of wonderful people there with, when you grab a copy of the Al Jazeera midweek, you find more on the stories.
All right, thank you, Sharp. I'll be taking the Nigerian pilot, and on page 6, I'll be starting from page 6 of the Nigerian pilot. Governors must not choose a running mate for Tinubu, says Uzodima. That's on page 6, and still on page 6. I think page 6 has page 6 and page 8 they both have a bulk of the news today. That's on Nigerian pilot. Still on page 6, hijab crisis. Kwara Muslim community demands change of schools' names. Still on page 6, NAS workers suspend strike after 1 week. Then moving to page 7, FCT minister finally swears in new Abuja council chairman and councillors. And still on page 7, we talked about this morning. I think I saw it in the news yesterday evening. Again, gunmen invade church, abduct worshippers in Ogun State. And moving to page 8. It's not getting funny, really.
Please, Ogun State is very close to Lagos State. I do not want to think what I'm thinking right now.
Calm down, calm down. You don't have to be scared. Be calming down, okay? All right, so moving to page 8, bandits demand 145 million naira ransom for 29 wedding guests kidnapped in Sokoto. And still on page 8, VAT Paris Club refund. 36 states storm Lagos. That's on page 8. And the major headline on the Nigerian pilot is on page 8. That Nigeria bleeds, loses 5 trillion naira oil revenue in 2022. And the riders to that says World Bank warns that Nigeria will lose whooping 5 trillion naira oil revenue in 2022. Also says funds would be used to cover cost of gasoline, subsidies benefiting only the rich. It also says that the 5 trillion naira is needed to cushion ordinary Nigerians from high cost of basic commodities. We wish, and the last one on that reveals 1 million Nigerians likely to be pushed into poverty by end of 2022. That'll be all for the Nigerian pilots.
Just to continue from where you stopped on Nigerian Tribune, 1 million more Nigerians to join poverty bracket by end of 2021. How much more? Because I refuse to be a part. I think this is getting more serious day by day. Unemployment, lack of unemployment.
Mm-hmm. Or lack of employment.
Unemployment.
It's even getting more. Let me say, it's getting more serious.
Lack of employment.
I think
yes, lack of employment. It's really affecting us mentally.
My God.
And then when you stop to think right, things go wrong.
Obviously, if things are not working the way they're supposed to work, you would stop thinking right, really. Except you propose in your heart and you decide that, or you determine and say, I'm not going to let this affect me. I'm just going to live life. Then you're good to go.
Okay, that one is on page 6. Articles running mate, Wike urges others. That's on page 27. And we can see the major story that said Southwest governors raise questions over our attack. You are the champion of the Amotekun in the Southwest. We, your brothers, wonder if this is more personal because of the role you have played in ensuring that our zone is secure. One wonders if there's a particular reason this attack was launched into your own town of Owo. You want to find out who said this and more on the story, you check that on page 8.
To whom was it said, on what occasion?
But basically, this was referring to the governor of the state, Governor Rotimi Akeredolu, right? That's on page 8. OPL 245. Why Nigerian lost $1.7 billion claim to JP Morgan. You find out on page 7. Drug deal. Court jails Abaki Harris co-defendant 2 years. There's one of 6 years and there's one of 2 years.
Yeah, I think there was the two of his co-defenders actually had their own
their own share of judgment.
Hell yeah.
Of punishment. MRA rejects government's attempt to regulate social media through the back door. That's on page 2. Abducted Anglican Bishop wife driver regain freedom. Thank God Saw that this morning in the news.
Yeah.
It's it
Sorry.
it's it's rather unfortunate, like I would say, because I'm very sure they're gonna pay ransom for their release.
Exactly.
Who knows who their next target is? Please, the security in the land has to be secured. You need to be
Sure.
more secure.
I think the way English is dealing with you
You need to be
today,
more
you,
secure.
you actually need to practically calm down, take a
See,
deep breath.
nobody is safe.
Hmm.
We are not safe.
But we are safe in the arms of Jesus.
We know, but let's be realistic here. Let's be realistic here, and
Oh
that's the
my God.
fact.
It will
So
get to
we
an
need to be,
extent that
we need to be more secured and
it will get to an extent that maybe when you start getting confused of a particular situation, all you can just do is just start laughing. Like but we're gonna be fine, we'll be alright.
Okay, Lawan Gbajabiamila raised concern over losses suffered by NAS members during primaries. The writer says Speaker faults adoption of delegate system. That's on page 5. Ekiti Gubap poll. INEC deploys 4 national commissioners. 8 records. Rein in your supporters. IGP tells candidates. That one is on page 30 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. That's all.
Okay, moving on to the Daily Independent, the major headline says Buhari rejects pressure to impose a running mate on Tinubu as he takes decision without cabal, says the presidency. And it's been all over the place talking about a Muslim ticket. And the president, Muhammadu Buhari, would actually not impose a running mate on the APC presidential aspirant Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as even though he's not in support of the party parading a Muslim presidential ticket in the 2023 general elections. So you can continue reading the story on page 26 of the Daily Independent. And I have here with me large turnover of reps, a big loss to democracy by Chabiamila, as Lawan consoles senators who lost out in primaries, assures Senate will address loopholes in Electoral Act. We can continue reading that on page 29 of the Daily Independent. Okay, let me flip back to page 7 of the Daily Independent papers. Nigeria lost $2.5 billion to aircraft maintenance abroad in 2021, says Fan NMD. Moving on to page 7, still on page 7, Masaka Southwest governors to hold security meeting, says Abiodun, as Ogun, Lagos, Kwara governors donate 75 million naira. I think that's actually very thoughtful.
Bola Tinubu donated almost the same amount.
Oh,
One person.
he donated 75 million naira. He donated a sum of 50 million naira to the families of the victims,
Of
and
course,
25 million naira
to the
to the
church.
church. Okay. On page 6, Peter Obi visits Egypt to understudy country's power, education, and finance sectors. You can continue reading that on page 6. And World Bank has said that Nigeria to lose 5 trillion naira in 2022 over fuel subsidy, says inflation are likely to increase further as additional 1 million Nigerians going into poverty by end of 2022. We read that, and it's on. We've taken the story of Abakiari's co-defendant, and I think it's actually repeating itself in most of our papers. And we'll take this one, the last one on the Daily Independent. PDP committee recommends Wike as Atiku's running mate. That's on page 6 of the Daily Independent papers. That'll be all for the Daily Independent papers.
All right, let me share your daily. I'm going to take a few ones from the Daily Times. Okay, this one is coming from article. It says Nigeria's huge infrastructure deficit stunts economic growth. That one is on page 5 of the Daily Times newspaper. Catholic Secretariat warns against Muslim ticket. That's on page 2. And something different. Attorneys General meet in Lagos over Paris Club refund, VAT, and others. That's on page 3. And at the bottom of the paper, I would see colleges of education lecturers begin 4-week strike. That's also on page 3 of the Daily Times newspaper. Every other stories there have been taken, talked about.
All right, on to the New Telegraph papers. This one is actually new on page 5. APC loses 2 members to PDP. You want to know who the members are? You can get the full story on page 5 of the New Telegraph papers. And this is on page 7. This on issue of vice presidential aspirant. That's again PDP may ignore Southeast as odds favor Wike. That's on page 7. Delegate system caused loss of primaries by many reps by Jabiamila. That's on page 27 and page 30 of the New Telegraph papers. Okay, we've taken the Nigeria the story about Nigeria losing $1.5 billion claimed against JP Morgan. And this is on page 3 and page 7. This on 2023 election. Muslim tickets will be most insensitive, says Catholic bishops. They also said that most politicians' conduct going from bad to worse can tells parties to promote common good, not self-interest, which I second that personally. Okay, and reject party with same faith ticket. Says Tekan, and Uzodima says only Tinubu can decide his running mate. Then on to page 5, IT security challenges taking toll on government's revenue, AGF. And lastly, on the New Telegraph papers, this is on page 8, as study has found out that forever chemicals linked to hypertension in middle-aged women. If you're interested in that, you can get that on page 8 of the New Telegraph papers.
All right, I'll look at the national economy. Fuel subsidy, Nigeria is struggling to service debt, says federal government. You can continue reading on the inside on page 4. Political spending push money in circulation to 3.3 million trillion naira. Inflation will push another 1 million Nigerians into poverty by year end, says World Bank. No respite as inflation will worsen economists. That one also on page 4. Port cost shippers council saves 3.3 billion naira from vessel demurrage. That's on page 5. CIBN remand charge certified risk managers on new technologies. Also on page 5. And still on page 5, Dangote Cement shareholders approved 20 naira per share dividend. That's on page 5 too. Yes, I think that's all on the front page of the national economy.
All right, on to the blueprint papers. High cost of diesel for tankers, reason for Abuja fuel scarcity. You can get the full story on page 6, and this calls for fuel price increase, warns of possible business collapse as oil price shoots to $126 per barrel. OPEC reveals production loss for May. You can continue reading on page 6 of the blueprint papers. And we have, this is on Ekiti Gilba, candidates party signed peace accord today as INEC partners EFCC, ICPC on poll. That's on page 8 of the blueprint papers. Malabo oil deal. Nigeria loses 1.7 billion naira claim against JP Morgan. This is, it's heartbreaking really for me. It's breaking my heart. $1.7 billion is not a small money. Okay, moving to page 22. Lagos, Ogun, Rivers, top states with highest domestic debt stock. You can continue reading that on page 22 of the blueprint papers. And the major headline says, as NAS frets over indirect primaries, PDP may settle for Wike as Atiku's running mate, and we have some riders to that, to make position known in 48 hours. Fly Reverse governor at your own peril, youth leader tells party. As APC loses majority leader Abdullahi Alero to PDP. I think
One of
APC's
those.
majority leader was one of those who defected to PDP. Less than 3,000 shouldn't determine fate of 200 million Nigerians, says NAS. Laments a 50 to 60% members' loss of return tickets. That's on page 6 of the blueprint papers. That'll be all for the blueprint papers.
Well, because of our time, I'll take something different quickly on the Daily Trust. Hadiza Gabon appears in court, denies promising to marry man. Uh-uh. This one a family matter. You might want to find out on page 16. NCDC confirms 36 monkeypox cases in 15 states, including the Federal Capital Territory. That story is on page 4. 10 killed in renewed cultist clashes in Ogun State. And every other story there has been taken. Look at this one. Wike wins PDP Advisory Council poll as running mate. Tinubu, you choose his vice president, says Uzodinma. APC governor's mom after meeting Buhari. President takes decision without cabal, says Garbashiu. We are not in alliance talks, says NNPP. All of this you can read on page 5 of the Daily Trust. And that'll be all.
All right, thank you so much for joining us on today's edition of the newspaper review on Lagoon Radio. And in case you need to get the hard copy of the presidential speech on the Democracy Day, you can get the Guardian papers, These Day papers, and the leadership papers for that. All right, coming right after now is The Moment of Truth by the Venerable Henry Adelegon. Do stay connected to Lagoon Radio. You can follow us on all our social media platforms, on Facebook at Lagoon Radio Nigeria, Instagram and Twitter at Lagoonradio.Ng, and for more news update on Lagoon.News, also our YouTube channel on Lagoon TV. My name is Olabisi Simidele Oke, and I still have with me
Taiwo Adeola Shabile.
Have a nice day.
This is Lagoon Radio.